Hi everybody and welcome back to Commander Critic. So first I want to thank everyone that's been watching my videos and liking them and also subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. So if this is your first time watching and you do like what you see, please go back and watch those videos. And then subscribe to my channel so you'll get a notification when I post new content. I am posting content about twice a week or so. So this video today is going to be about a card that I really don't like that's playable in the Commander format of Magic the Gathering. But as I've been starting my videos with a story, this one's going to be no different. I'm going to tell you a story today, and I'm really excited about this one. This is about my favorite deck I've ever made. Back in the day, around like 1994, 1995. As I stated in my previous video that I started off playing mono green because I liked the stompy creatures, swinging for a lot of damage and make these big attacks. So I moved on from mono green to mono red, and eventually moved over to Boros, red and white. So this combo in my deck, and it used to make people very salty because it was kind of control-y. So it consisted of Conversion, which was a white enchantment that said all mountains in play are considered plains. It had a 2 white mana upkeep cost. So to help me with that, I ran a couple copies of Mana Flare. And then the other part of the combo was Urza's Sunglasses, or Sunglasses of Urza, actually. The Sunglasses of Urza stated that any white mana in your pool can be considered red or white. So I was able to play my deck and use my red and my white mana and do everything I wanted to do with no problem. Any mono red player was kind of stuck. They had no way to deal with it. Back in the day, there wasn't as many interactions. There was no real ways to deal with something like that. Like nowadays, it's not a great combo because there's so many different ways, so many different cards that have been printed that can deal with that. But back in the day, there wasn't. So for that reason, it wasn't uncommon for mono red decks to have copies of Disenchant in their decks. And they would do that. They would run a couple copies of Disenchant in case you turned all their mountains into plains, and then they could just get rid of the Conversion and then play their deck the way they wanted to. But I love that combo. It made people kind of salty. And it's weird to think that there was such a thing as like a Boros control back then. So now I'm going to go on to the heart of my video. And I want to talk about a card that I really don't like that's played in the Commander format. And this time it's going to be an artifact. And it's Coat of Arms. I know a lot of people like to use this card because there's so many different typo decks out there. But any card that has a blanket effect that helps your opponents, I think is just a horrible card. You don't want to give them anything because what if they stabilize? What if they come out swinging and they can benefit from it more than you? You know, so for an example, say you're playing, I don't know, like a mono white Angels deck, and you're having a hard time with mana, or you have a great board state, and then the board gets wiped, and then the mono black zombie player is able to stabilize quicker than you, and there's your Coat of Arms making their creatures huge, and then they swing at you, and then they take you out, and you've lost the game because of a card that you played. Like how bad is that? How horrible does that feel to lose a game because a card you played helped another opponent to beat you? I don't like it. I don't like any cards of that type. Also, say you're not the one with the Coat of Arms, but you're playing against them, and there's 2 typo decks on the board, and their battlefields are about equal, and they don't want to attack each other because they can't. There's too many blockers, and they don't want to attack each other. So who do they go after? They go after you. So either A, you're going to be out of the game quick, or B, you're the one who's going to have to deal with it. So it really makes it feel bad if you're that other player in the group that doesn't benefit from the Coat of Arms. And you're the one that's singled out and taken out first. That also feels really bad, and that's no fun. Because you know what? I've been there. So, and I do play some typo decks, and I would never play that card in it. I just think it's too much to give my opponents an advantage. I also don't like cards like Primal Vigor. That does sort of the same thing. It helps you out, but it also helps out your opponent. It gives like a blanket effect. And I'm just not a big fan of those types of cards. Like, I'm in it for me. I want to play the cards that are going to buff my team or benefit me, but not give anything to my opponents. Because there's going to be those times where you lose a game because your opponent benefited from a card you played that was supposed to be there to help you. And that's horrible. So anyways, that's how I feel about that card. Tell me what you think in the comments. If you like the card, if you don't like the card, if there's any cards you want us to suggest that I talk about, please put them in the comments and I'll take a look at them and maybe I'll talk about a card that you suggested sometime. But again, if you like the video and you like my content, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share if you can. And again, I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.